Hi everybody, my name is Abigail. This video follows the intro video to the beginner series that will be offered online via One Tree Yoga starting in October. And I will be leading this series. As I mentioned in the previous video, this is a 5-week series. And this video is really just a chance to see, potentially feel, if you'd like to practice with me, what the series will be like in terms of the practice. And so if you'd like to gather some of your props and practice along with me, I would love that. So you can also invite a dog. As you can see, my dog Charlie has decided to join for practice, so get your pets if you want. Or if they want. And let's gather a blanket to cover the mat. So you can cover your mat so that your surface is nice and padded. And then grab a second blanket. And you're gonna fold this blanket so that it's in like a rectangle shape. We'll fold it just a third of the way in. And then you'll hold at that third spot. Fold it one more third the other way. So you have this like tri-fold accordion style situation. Yeah? And then let's set that up so it goes right underneath the upper back, and we'll put the back body on it. So come to lay down and rest the upper back right on the blanket. So you feel like your chest gets a nice lift. And then if your head feels like it's really far away from the floor, you might consider a block under your head, especially if your chin feels really far out of the chest. And then legs can go long. If you have a pet, feel free to throw your legs over the pet. If they're 100 pounds like mine. If they're smaller, maybe not so much. But you can bend your knees or you can take your legs long, whatever's comfortable. And we've got that blanket in a spot that really helps to spread the upper back wide. Allow your hands to rest on the belly. So let's take hands right to the belly center. And just let your elbows sort of land heavy to the sides. Close your eyes. And really simply here on your back, you'll just start to feel for the breath experience. So, with your eyes softly closed and your jaw nice and loose, you might slightly part your teeth so the mouth is open and easy. Lips can just be slightly together unless you need to breathe out of the mouth. And just start to allow your body to soften as you feel for the breath. You might feel for breath underneath your hands, so there might be some rise and fall under your thumbs, or maybe down into like the pinky finger if you've got a little bit fuller breath. And then what about the blanket underneath you? Is there any potential for breath feedback against the blanket on the back of your lungs, the back of your body? Continue just to feel and watch the breath. Is there anywhere else in your body you could be really soft and easy. Release, relax any tension in your eyes or your face. And then you can simply start to invite the Samavritti breath, or same fluctuations here. So as you inhale, you can just count to yourself the beats of the inhale. So inhale, breath, 1, 2, 3, and exhale, breath, you count as well, 3, 2, 1, and then you keep going. So your breath might be shorter or longer than that, and that's fine. But could we get the inhale and the exhale to match in terms of length without strain? So re-soften through your jaw. And take a moment to soften, release your hands. And just feel into the experience of breath as you count, maybe to yourself or in your mind as you breathe that same fluctuation breath. Not just for the belly. So you've got hands kind of down on belly center. You might feel it there. But is it possible to feel it in the blanket as well? And take another moment or so to feel into the breath as it allows for the hands to maybe move and the back blanket underneath you to feel a little bit of pressure or expansion. And then you can release through that breath work. If you need to take the hands off the belly, you could relax them wide to the sides. And just take a normal breath or two here in the center. And then keep your blanket where it is, but just roll over to your right side. So you'll roll onto your right side. The blanket is going to rest right on the right widest part of your rib cage. So you can connect blanket and like widest part of rib cage, and then slip your right arm in front of the blanket. You could use a block for your head here. Legs can be nice and long, or you could stack your knees. And just rest on your right side for a few breaths here. And then once again, when you're ready, we'll invite the Samavritti, the same fluctuation breath here. As you inhale, you can count the breaths that come in, and then count the breath as it goes out. With particular orientation to the right side waist, the right side of your lung, and how that feels against the blanket here. this is going really well, you might stay just as you are. If you want to feel the opposite sideways, you could hold like your left widest part of your rib cage there. And just as you inhale, continue to feel and count the beats in. Maybe you could feel your breath spreading not only up and down, but side to side into the ribs and the outer part of the ribs, and the sides of your body. And again here, we try to stay soft in the eyes and the face and the jaw. And after your next breath or so, you can release the placement of your left hand on your ribs. Just relax your breath. Take a normal breath. And without being in a rush, we'll roll to the other side. So you can roll through your back or through your belly. Let's switch to the other side so that your left side is on the floor. Blanket will catch on like the left widest part of your ribs, and then head can rest on your block here. If it's pretty comfortable to stretch your left arm long, you could do so between your block for your pillow and that blanket set up for the widest part of your left ribs. And then knees can stack. You can be pretty easy here. And just give yourself time to orient on this side. And when you're ready, you can start the same invitation of Sama Vriti. As you inhale, breathe, counting the beats of your inhale, and then as you exhale, counting the beats out. Just allowing your breath to move nice and freely. Option to put the right hand palm on like the right rib cage and just feel the breath as it moves. Try to keep your face soft and your jaw soft. If you have any anxiety or this becomes stressful for you, just release all of the effort. Take a rest. And you can come back into the practice of Sama Vriti when you feel ready. And so on this side, we feel the breath expand not only into the blanket, but maybe up and into this right hand. And the breath is certainly three-dimensional, so enjoy a couple more rounds here of the breath movement. After your next breath cycle, you can soften, release your right hand, take a pause on your side. And then from your left side, we'll press right up, and the last orientation here is on your belly. So this blanket will catch right at like the center of your torso pretty much. So right in line with maybe like navel and where you feel like your ribs start to splay to the sides. Thanks to Charlie, I'll have to change my angle here, but come on down to your belly. And you can bring your block with you or that second blanket so you could potentially rest your head. And then feel for that blanket right underneath really the center of your torso. And then you can rest your head straight down on a block, or you could turn one cheek to the side. And then here the invitation again is to feel that Samavriti breath. So what's the compression like here with the blanket? And could you continue to keep your face soft and your jaw soft as you feel into the front body breath experience? And continue the inhale beats matching the amount of exhale beats. And could you soften around the eyes and the jaw and the tongue here for our last couple of rounds? And after your next breath, you can relax all of the focus from the Samavriti. Take a normal breath. And then we'll make your way back to your back. And on your way there, just grab that yoga strap or your belt, whatever you've got. And you can use that pillow or that blanket rather that we folded for your head at this point so that your upper back is free, the belly's free, there's no blanket compression. And we'll just take a couple of breaths on our back. So pause here and just feel what the effects of that Samavriti breath have created for your body, for your breath ability, and also for the mind. Hopefully a sense of like calm, collected sense of self. So one of the best ways into the yoga practice is the breath. So we establish really good connection with the breath and we'll maintain that as we move a little bit. So grab your belt or your strap and just open it up so it's nice and long. You'll take your strap over the ball mount of your right foot, so slip it over your right foot and stretch your foot up towards the ceiling. hold your strap or your belt with both of your hands and allow for the arms to be straight. So if that means you hold more closer to your feet, or maybe you hold further away, be mindful of the back of the right leg. If you need to bend your right knee a little bit, that's fine too. But start to press up through your right heel, like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your heel. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. And just allow the shoulders to soften into the blanket. Look up at your right toes and start to spread your toes wide. So like you could potentially see the ceiling between your toes. Any amount stretch up through the right heel, and there's a small sense of pulling strap toward your face to get the back of the leg opened. And then we're here with the Samavriti breath. So inhale, count maybe 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. And continue to breathe evenly, slowly, as you stretch this right back of leg. From here, you'll keep your strap, but I want you to start to roll around in the right foot. So, start to roll your right foot to the left, like the sole of your right foot, the bottom of your foot, could face the left side of your space. The pinky edge side of your foot tries to reach towards the ceiling. Probably doesn't feel super great. So step 1 is like get into breath. Step 2 is we gotta open up the feet, starting from the bottom of the body all the way to the top. And then put your foot back to normal. So pull the toes toward your face, stretch up through your heel. This is the flexion, dorsiflexion of the ankle. Now I want you to push into the strap. So point your toe up towards the ceiling, like your ballet style. Point your toes, stretch the top of the foot. And you could do this with a bent knee, right? Or like strap way out here. If your hamstrings are super tight, that's okay. But point the toes, stretch the top of the foot. This is our plantar flexion. And then return the foot to dorsiflexion, like if you were standing on the ceiling. Press up through the heel, spread your toes. And then the last direction we'll go is to roll a little bit the inner foot towards the ceiling. So like the right pinky toe side pulls down just a little bit. And you stretch through the inner line of your leg. Breathe here, spread your toes. And then return to normal. Let's do all of that again. So spin the sole of the foot to the left, like the pinky edge side of your foot would touch the ceiling. Pull the foot back to normal, dorsiflexion, toes toward your face, heel up. Then point the foot, press the top of the foot towards the ceiling, like you're pointing ballet style. Stretch the top of the foot. You can pull a little bit up on your strap. You might find more space there. And then release the foot back to flex. So like you were like walking. That's like the position your foot is in. Heel up, toes toward your face. And then just really gently pull the right side of your strap down. And stretch the inner foot like the big toe side of your foot could spin and touch the ceiling. Alright, let's come back through the center. Take a nice full cycle of breath with your Samavriti. And then really slowly you can slip your strap off and release your right foot to the floor, to your blanket, or to your puppy. And then just take a moment to pause and feel the right leg, the right foot. And keep your right foot on the floor, right knee bent, grab your strap. And we'll stretch the strap over the left foot. So ball mound of the left foot gets your strap, and you adjust as you need to. So 2 really long tails. You bend your left knee if you need to. Hold the strap further away if you need to. So lots of options and ways to use the strap here. Soften your shoulders down into the floor so that the upper back is soft, shoulders are soft. And then start the pressure, the push, up through your left heel. So again, like we're in that walking position, but in this case we would put the left foot on the ceiling. Start to spread your left toes. So you might look at them and try to spread them wide, like you could see some space between your toes. And then you come back to the breath. So we're in the pose. Find Samavriti. Inhale. Count the breaths. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. And there's a small pulling sensation with your strap, yeah? So any amount you can pull just a little bit, but actively press up towards the ceiling with your left heel. And then we'll start the same work we did on the first side. So start to spin your left foot to the right so that the sole of your foot faces, in my case, the camera, but like the right long edge of your mat. So the pinky edge side of your foot tries to spin to the ceiling. It's a pretty wicked outer ankle stretch, so breathe here. And then return the foot to the center, toes pull toward your face. Flex up through the left heel, and then we'll go into the point of the foot. So stretch the toes up, point the toes. You might catch a little space stretch across the top of your left foot. And then return the foot to dorsiflexion, press up through the heel, pull the toes toward your face. And then really small movement, left pinky toe pulls towards your face, stretch up through the right inner foot. That movement's probably pretty small. A little bit for the arch of the foot here and the inner line of the leg. Take one more breath. And then return to center. Center the foot here. Feel the back of the leg. Take a breath. And then start the series over. So spin your left foot to the right. Come to the outer edge of the foot here. Tries to stretch up towards the ceiling. Turn the sole of your left foot to the right. And then turn the foot back to dorsiflexion. So that's your walking position. Press your left heel up like you were standing or walking on the ceiling. Then point the toes, stretch the top of the foot. You can stretch your arms a little bit up. You might pull a little bit to stretch more through the top of your feet, tops of your toes. And then release that action and come back to that strong dorsiflexion. Last piece, pull with your left strap a little bit, turn your inner foot up, and pull the left pinky toe side down. And take another breath here. And then release, come through the walking position of your foot, pause. And then release your foot, slip your strap off. You can keep your knees bent or take your legs long. Hands to the belly here, and just close your eyes and feel. Return to nice breath in. You can count the beats. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. And just release, relax. You can move your strap off of you, set it to the side. Let's bend the knees. And then you can roll through either side and press yourself up from your side. Once you are up, let's grab support with those blocks. So you might want both blocks in this case, depending on how tight your feet are. And come to kneel. So if you need additional padding compared to just this one single blanket on your mat, you could use this other blanket as additional padding. And kneel on that. And then look back at your feet, and we'll lengthen the tops of the feet here. So point the toes towards the back of your space here. And then you'll separate your feet hip distant, slip your block on this flattest setting, stack them on top of one another, and sit. So if this is not enough height for your seat, then you could potentially grab another blanket or a pillow or something to build the seat a little bit higher. But the tops of the feet are nice and long here. Get a nice stretch for the tops of the ankles, tops of the feet. You can just rest your hands on your thighs here and breathe. And find slow Samavriti breath if that's helpful as you sit in your Vajrasana is what this seat is called. Take another breath. And then you can lift up from your seat, come back to kneel. This round, tuck your toes. So you might literally go back there, tuck your toes underneath, tuck your left toes underneath. So both sets of toes tucked. And then we'll sit back once more. So sitting bones, bum to blocks, or maybe to like several blocks blanket. Broken toe pose. Stretching the arches of the feet, the underside of the foot. See if you can rest hands to thighs, sit tall. Just be in the experience of your breath again here. Try to soften around your jaw, take another breath. And then you can lean forward. Come on up to kneel. Untuck your toes. If it feels good to kind of pitter-patter the feet on the mat, you can. And then let's come up to stand. You can bring your blocks with you, or just one block actually, and come on up to stand. So stand on your mat. We're going to squeeze a block between the upper inner thighs. So hug a block tall between the thighs here on this skinny setting of the block. So come on up to stand and hug that block. So squeeze in on the block, look down at your feet and start to spread your toes nice and wide. So let's bend the knees a little bit, hands to hips, look down at your toes and spread them like I had you do when we were on our backs. Maybe you could see some of your blanket between your toes. And then when you're ready, stand tall, squeeze your legs, squeeze your block, and soften your shoulders away from your ears. Squeeze the block a little bit more and squeeze your legs, get a little bit taller through the crown of your head. Great. Bend your knees, release your block. Let's switch to the strap. So grab your belt. You're going to make a loop around your thighs. So you'll strap in mid-thigh with your belt so that when you stand, you're about hip distant in your strap. You might bend your knees a little bit, try to break the strap side to side. And if that feels about hip distant, then you can go ahead and straighten your legs. Make sure the strap feels taut when you try to pull it side to side, and then hands back to your hips. Look down at your toes and spread them. Take up lots of space with your feet. And then straighten your legs, lift your sternum, lift your chest, and soften the shoulders away from the ears. Now the work is to squeeze into the inner line of the leg, but you don't have a block, so you still pretend it's there, and then also push out against your strap. You might feel your outer buns click on. Break the strap side to side. See if you could get longer, taller through the sides of your waist, and then you're in like a strong Tadasana pose or the mountain pose. What if you find Samavriti breath and continue to break your strap side to side? Awesome. Release your strap, bend your knees. You can unclick it, set it to the side. All right, yogis, so that's just a little preview of what you might enjoy in this beginner series. This indeed is a sneak peek at that very first and second week of class, where we really focus on the breath and then working into the feet. And so really starting from the foundations of yoga, physically being the breath experience and building the stretch and the strength from the feet up. So I look forward to making more of these videos, giving you more sneak previews of what the beginner series will entail. But if you have questions or are curious about it, I would love to answer them and or would just love to have you sign up. So please check us out at onetreeyoga.com. And again, my name is Abigail, and I hope to see you for the series in October. Namaste.